no one appreciated supply chain management in the past. And now everyone's upset about it. And that reminds me of what I always say about dopamine, that as soon as you get what you want, the dopamine stops and then you don't feel good anymore. So our ancestors looked very hard for water. And when they found water, they were really happy. But when we have unlimited running water all the time, it doesn't make us a bit happy. So it's the same thing with in the past, if you wanted to buy something, maybe it took a lot of effort, and now maybe you get it in 1 or 2 days, but doesn't even make you happy anymore. But then when you lose it, then you're unhappy. So I thought it would be great to hear from a person who helps us understand all the effort and pain and frustration that goes into that. So hi, Priscille, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Loretta. Thank you very much for having me today.
Could you please give us an example of some of the things that can go wrong that you've experienced in your life?
There is a lot of things that could go wrong, and we have to understand that supply chain is like the backbone of a plant. It's many different departments. It is the purchasing department, which is ordering the parts, for instance, to build something. It's also the people which are managing the production, making it in the right way. The people who are managing the storage, the people who are managing the supply, the people who are managing the distribution with trucks to the final consumer. So it's not only one department, it's many departments in a plant. So there is many things that could go wrong. And one of the major things which seems to be forgotten, it's a department or a service which is highly dependent on men and women. So it's not robots. You have real people working there, real people in plants, real people driving trucks, driving the plane, the ship, everywhere, unloading and loading all these transport means, meaning when those people are not there, if they are sick with COVID or whatever, you don't have the service anymore. So this is one of the first things. It is highly reliable on people with all the things that could happen to every of us, everyone. And then you have transportation, basically, and what's the point? At some point, you always have to transport. If it's the raw material from, I don't know, a mining plant to another plant, so there is a transportation there, and there is another transportation from this plant to another, and there is a succession of steps like that, where there is transport, and mainly, quite often, it's road transportation. It means that you can have some issue with the truck, you can have bad weather condition, you can have, I don't know, a strike at the borders, the drivers could be sick. So you can have a lot of things happening. And normally this is the job of specialists to try to forecast all that and to say, okay, we may have some risks, so you need to have a kind of buffer in terms of time to make sure that we will receive the goods on time. Okay.
So can you give us some real life things that went wrong in your experience, and maybe even some of the things that helped you decide when you needed to retire from this business?
Yes, I'm not sure this is the thing that goes wrong that pushed me to retire from this business. Anyway, for instance, when we got the very beginning of this COVID crisis, I was in charge of the logistics and transportation for all Europe for a huge company. And it was road transportation. And with COVID, we have some border closure. One country decided to close its border so that there is nobody coming with COVID, and then the other country was open, and we have some drivers on the road, and they have to go from one country to the others, crossing another where it was closed, and they have to go around this country, and then suddenly there is some threshold and they accept only a few trucks, but not more, and you have huge queue everywhere in Europe, and you have customers, where is my truck, where is my goods? And it was extremely difficult to tell them where was the goods, where was the truck, and when it will be released from the traffic jam where they were. You have no idea, and we have no idea. And everybody went crazy with that because they need the goods, the plant could close, there is some shortage, and it was like, and it was all over Europe and probably the same in the US. And then we have, in a larger extent, all this issue with all goods coming from China. Because, you know, China, they've got a lockdown, even very recently. They're just reopening Shanghai, for instance, where there is a major harbor with many ships coming from those countries to the US or to Europe. And they were all in lockdown. There were no goods shipped anymore. And then at some point, we didn't have the goods here in Europe too. And then we realized that we are very dependent to plants and to people, which are just living in the other side of the world. And it's not easy then to accept that and to make it understand to the people around you, because most of the people, they have absolutely no idea how and where the goods they are buying are done.
So when you have a container ship with hundreds of containers, and each one has like people spend a huge amount of money to rent it and to transport it. I know because I see them just sitting there in the ocean, and I know how huge fee per day people pay to rent them. So they're on a ship, and it's like a Rubik's Cube where there's a program that arranges so that each container is near the top of the ship when that ship arrives to the port where that particular container would be unloaded. So again, huge amount of value involved, but it was all automated. So there was this huge leap in productivity that we have all benefited from over the past few decades that most people don't realize, that has really kept our cost of living down. And again, people don't appreciate it.
Yeah, true. But after that, yeah, there is some part of automation. Not everything is automated. We have to be clear of that. Especially the loading and unloading of these containers is very often manual, still manual, at least in the country of production. And not everything is coming by ship. You have also all this air freight, and you have everything which is done by truck. So not everything is highly automated, unfortunately. And we still are relying on people and with all what there is around that.
Do you remember anything from when your father was doing this, what it was like then?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
he
the only
come home crying.
No. The thing is, you know, when I start working in logistics, we didn't have all this email and things like that. And we managed to have plants running days and nights without too much shortage. I think we have this increase of needs of being delivered quickly. Maybe it comes from the Amazon or some others like that, who just put into the market the fact to be delivered the next day or even a couple of hours after you order. And we just forgot all the implication of that. The people which are behind that, the system which are behind that, the costs for the planet.
What so many people,
you know, in Europe, we are very, very much into that topic. I know in the US, maybe you are a bit behind us, but the cost for the planet of each delivery is gigantic. Each time we are just leveling a little, I don't know, USB stick. There is a drivers coming to your door with just this little
Well,
piece.
and the waste of all the wrapping, there's so much wrapping.
The
I
wrapping,
hate-
the
oh, I
boxes
hate it.
and things like that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
crazy.
It's so sad.
It's very convenient, but what is the cost for us and for the future of our planet?
Yeah.